Hello. You should quit your job. Seriously, quit it. Your manager might hate me for saying this, but I really believe it. Because we need more design founders. So much so, I'm going to spend this whole talk convincing you why designers are the best people for the job. And honestly, if I'm really successful, you might have to go to your skip level, because your manager might also quit. So I will say, this talk probably won't reveal anything special about ourselves, nor will it contain any piece of advice that'll be transformative to how we think, because you're already doing the work of a founder, and the whole point of this talk is going to be highlighting how. I know this because I used to be a designer, and now I'm a founder. So today we're going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about how I got here, why I truly believe designers make for the best founders, and also why it's never been easier to be one. So I'm going to start by quickly sharing a bit about my work, but really, I want to emphasize how my thinking evolved from being a designer to becoming a founder. So we're going to start with the year 2013. I just graduated high school, and I had a diploma, no big deal, and some fresh self-taught knowledge of how to use things like totally legitimate copies of Photoshop. And through some friends I had met in SF, I got my first job, which was a chance to collaborate with Lady Gaga on her art pop album. And we developed a series of iPhone and iPad apps where you could listen to her music, you could create 3D artwork. It was just a place for her fans to connect with her. And the project was memorable. Like, at one point, she put the app into her dress for a performance. But I wasn't a founder of this. I was a designer. So the things that I cared about were all the design details, the interaction patterns that we were developing, the visual language of the world of Gaga, and the features of the app itself. And so when I look back on it, I realized my whole world was about design. That was my whole perspective on building products. Like, if we build something nice, people will just magically show up and automatically love using our thing. But this is something that slowly started to shift over time, which I'm going to get to in a bit. So while we're working with Gaga, we picked up this random old tool from Apple called Quartz Composer, and we started using it to build these interactive prototypes to help us think through the interactions and the gestures of the app. And this is a tool that came out in 2005 to do things like making screensavers for iTunes. And so when the project wrapped up, our team decided we should build a design tool that's actually meant for interaction design. One where you can actually run the prototypes on your device and have it feel native. It was called Form. But this experience got me questioning my world, because we were building something from scratch. So it was just us and an idea for a better tool. And I caught myself thinking not only about design, but also how are we going to build this? Who's going to use it? Will anybody actually like what we made? Is it going to help them? And it actually made my own perspective of the world suddenly start to feel limited. I started to think that it might be more than just good design that'll make our product successful. So we launched Form, and it got acquired by Google, and I landed there where I had a chance to work with some of the most talented people in our industry. And I got to see what good design looks like at scale. I saw how design decisions impact billions of people, and how design systems work at scale, and how good design work gets shipped. And I started noticing all these different products they make for all these different markets, and then just how many different roles it takes to get this work out the door. And also just how design seems to be connected between all these pieces. It was an amazing breadth of experience. My perspective of how products are built also expanded. I really thought nothing could accelerate my growth faster. But I was wrong, which is shocking to so many people because I'm never wrong. Seriously, I've never made a mistake. After this experience, I realized what really changed my perspective and leveled up my game was becoming a founder. So what did I found? a consumer social thing or a productivity app or a design tool. No, I started a security company called Uno. And we were rethinking the world of security by taking a design-first lens. In case you're wondering, I don't come from the world of security. I barely knew anything about it before we started the company. But what got me to start Uno was that I had been breached. Someone got into my email, and that enabled them to get into all the accounts that were connected to it. And it was scary. Like, it felt like a violation of my privacy and security, and I wanted to do something about it. And so as I began to recover everything, I also started digging into what causes the issues in security. And I'll say being a designer helped me spot some of these opportunities. I began to notice that it's hard to adhere to certain security practices, or people get tricked by malicious actors, or mistakes just happen. And so I realized the issues aren't necessarily caused by something engineering or technical, it's caused by human behavior. And to change that, you have to look at how things are designed. So it turned out that security was actually the perfect area for a designer to build in. And starting my own company gave me the opportunity to apply my design thinking to a whole new set of problems that I normally wouldn't engage with when I was within a company. My advantage to building the business was the fact that I was a designer. The thing is, designers are really good at empathizing with their users. We can understand why something may or may not work and then iterate accordingly. And this showed up with Uno too. One example is how we described the product. We were building a password manager that anyone could use. But we also learned that most people don't get excited by security, which I understand. It's security. It's boring. The reality was we were trying to sell security to a group of people who were interested in convenience. It turned out this one little feature we built around letting you log into websites with a single click resonated more strongly than trying to get people to change their passwords and make them better. We learned that when you meet people where they are, you get closer to building something they'll love. And being a designer also allowed me to bring a fresh perspective to an industry that normally didn't have design founders. We were able to change the look of security, giving it a more friendly and approachable feel. And this was intentional because of the audience that we were serving. So one of the things that we developed was the jumbo button. This was designed to take up 100% of your browser's height, which was helpful because it made finding and clicking it really easy. And this might seem silly to you, but it got tons of people talking online. It helped our growth. How many of you could ship a button like this at your current job? Being a founder gives you that freedom, and sometimes it helps move the company forward too. Also, shout out to Paul Fitts and Fitts' law. So for those of you who may not be familiar, this is a principle in human-computer interaction that basically states that targets that are closer and larger are easier to tap, while the ones that are smaller and further away are harder. And this was proposed by Paul Fitts in 1954. While his research focused on making the design of airplane cockpits safer, we decided to apply the thinking and bring it to our jumbo button. So anyways, Uno wound up getting acquired as well. And as I look back on my journey of building Uno and just how my thinking had changed, I noticed that there was a shift in my view of the world and how products are made. I had noticed that it had totally changed. Before, my view of the world was mostly design. And then over time, I realized it was actually just a small piece. I suddenly had all these other roles in my world. To put it another way, I just had to wear one hat, which was my designer hat. And then as soon as I became a founder, I had to start wearing all these other new hats. I had a marketing hat, a sales hat, an engineering hat, legal, finance, it goes on, which was a bit of a problem because I only have one head. Becoming a founder teaches you to expand your focus and also to start looking at the big picture and how the rest of the machinery of the business works. You'll begin to appreciate how others do it too. You'll start questioning things, like if there's a market for what you're building, or are we 1 to 2 leaps away, or is it more 20 from finding the right thing? Or what's our path to profitability? All these questions start popping up. And you need to start caring about how you get people to use your product. Like, learning how to reach them is just as important as what you build. Success will start to feel different too. Like, I remember any time someone sent us a kudos about the product and how it just made me feel on top of the world. Like, someone discovered what we built. They got it because it solved a problem for them, and then they took the time to tell us about it. That's really cool. That was a really special feeling. But I also want to be clear, mistakes were made. Like, I remember overthinking how we were going to launch Udo. Like, where do I socialize it? Is posting on Product Hunt like too much or too little? We just had to learn to move quick, iterate, and just perfect along the way. And some tasks were also just more important than others. Like, it could mean that design gets deprioritized because another fire pops up. Like, suddenly you have to start worrying about fundraising or trying to find this new hire. We had to be brutal with our prioritization. Or how we waited too long to launch because we thought we needed more features, but more features don't get you closer to product market fit. So once we started shipping faster, we learned faster whether what we were building was the right thing. I began to realize that growth as a founder meant to overcome myself. So I know some of this might sound very different or very hard, but it's not for designers. And the next thing I want to get into is actually why. Why we actually have a head start to building something great, and why now is the right time to do it. So the first question to ask ourselves, why are designers actually the best people for the job? You're already doing it. Like, let me explain. So we'll start with an example from the past, in 1958, where a team at Disney created this film called Magic Highway USA. And this film was like different from the usual stuff they put out. It looked at the future of transport, and they researched it because they wanted to tell a story of how transport would impact American life. And they were doing the thing that we're also really good at doing, creating a vision of what the future could look like. And they saw a world where like we would have screens in our cars that would tell us which way to go. Like, they even got the little needle sitting in the middle of the screen right. Or like how cars will be able to get you from the home and office without you having to pay attention to the road. And they even predicted that we'd be spending that free time sitting on Zoom calls. And they showed concepts we haven't even gotten to yet, like infrastructure that builds itself, or highways that have intelligent signage. This film predicting the future was made up by a team of designers. And they did this in 1958. Like, to give you an example of what was happening back then, they had just shipped Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland, and were yet to put out bangers like Sleeping Beauty. So that's the thing. Like, we're really good at showing the future. Like, you, and you can all do it really well. And we can make things look extremely real. We think through the interactions, the user journey, the branding, the business impact, the customer, all of it in high fidelity. And then we tell that story to our stakeholders and our peers. We find a way to craft this narrative that brings the other person along the journey of our thinking. And in the future, that's not going to be that different. It's just going to be to a different audience. So you might do it to a prospective investor, or maybe people you're trying to convince to join your team, or the customers you're trying to sell to. So while others talk about possibilities, designers show them, and we galvanize people around them. OK, so we can show vision, but you might be wondering, well, can we do other parts of the job? Can we actually solve problems that are unrelated to design? So yes, you're already doing that too. Let's dive into it a little bit. Our design thinking is perfect for applying to other parts of the business. We like listen and observe every day. We care about the impact our work has on our customers. Like, we spend hours watching users struggle, listening to their frustrations, and then translating those vague feelings into concrete solutions. This is no different than trying to discover and understand your customer and seeing if there's a demand for what you want to build. You'll be able to hear their pain points. You'll see how they're struggling with their workflows, or maybe they're trying to hit certain metrics or goals. It's invaluable for shaping your product. It's the journey of a founder trying to reach for product market fit. And we know how to iterate. This is going to be a constant theme as you're building your product and trying to figure out how to acquire users. You're probably not going to get things right the first time, but if you do, good work. And we can also redefine problems. Remember the last time you redefined a product problem from we need this feature to users need to accomplish this goal? Like, as a founder, you'll be doing the same thing. Like, one example of this is, like, let's say you're trying to sell to a prospective customer. Say you got some sort of like AI agent product, and when you meet with a customer, it might unintentionally feel like a threat. Like, it can make their job redundant. But if you understand their fears or incentives or motivations, you can reframe the conversation. You can help them see that how the product can actually accelerate their career and get them closer to the metrics or the goals that they're trying to achieve. You can reframe the conversation to help them see that, and then eventually buy what you built. And then on top of that, we're obsessive about it all. Like, we try to maintain a certain bar throughout the work we do. Like, as a founder, you'll get that opportunity, and you'll be able to set that bar across the board, whether it's the culture internally or the way you build your product or the experience you give to your customers. So we're good listeners. We can solve any ambiguous problem and iterate, and we do it all with exceptional care. So again, we're doing the work of a founder already. OK, so maybe you're convinced that we have vision and we can think like a founder, but maybe you have one last question left, which is, can we build it? And I feel like I've said this a few times already. I'm going to say it once more, but yeah, you're already doing it. So I will say AI has made building something functional very approachable. I think you all know this through the tools we have today. But what that's meant is the currency for what makes companies valuable will not be the engineering or the technical modes. It's going to be the taste of the designer. Your taste is what's going to make products unique and potentially successful. Like, think Rick Rubin when he's asked what he's paid for. Like, channel that energy. Designers have never been more equipped to build up their talent stack. Like, you've got AI sales tools to like help you run a sales process. You've got AI marketing tools to craft your message and coding tools to build your products. Like, also, I will say designers should code. But yeah, we can build it. The tools to execute have never been more accessible. The world has never desperately needed products built with care and empathy, and you've never been better positioned to create them. Now is the time for designers to become founders. As I wrap up, I will say, being a founder has been one of the most rewarding things. Like, I feel like I began to see the machinery of running a business, and I loved shaping it. Like, for example, I began to appreciate like how people design their unique business models. Like, I loved seeing other founders design them. You're kind of designing systems instead of a product, and in some ways, that makes it all feel familiar. And it's sort of what I've been saying throughout this talk. You have a head start. Like, you know how to do the job. You've got the vision. You've got the taste. You've got the design thinking and ability to build. You're already doing it. Thank you.